Europa Universalis 5 asks the question, do you want to play every single Paradox title simultaneously? They took the economy of Victoria, the unit variety of Imperator, the combat of Crusader Kings and EU4, and they have mixed it together to create a bowl so fucking large and deep that you cannot possibly eat it in one sitting. EU5 is actually, by most accounts, a 5-day-long experience. It is the anti-working class strategy game. You remember getting home from work after a long day, settling into your chair and booting up EU4? You could do most of that campaign in a day, and in Hoi 4, it was the same story. Some YouTubers have played for 80 hours to finish a game. I played for 5 hours this morning and only progressed 50 years. That's a decade per hour. What the f***? If I were to go in-depth on everything, you'd be here for like an hour, so we'll touch on a few essentials. The economy is really in-depth. I'm talking 70 different goods in total, and all of them your population demands to have some quantity of. Markets are dynamic, and smaller nations led by a player can benefit from economic micromanaging. Larger countries, however, the economy often spans multiple markets. To test this game, I began as Kyiv and slowly worked my way towards uniting the Rus. It took me so long to put out a review because, as I said before, I'm a working man, and in between my 275-hour unpaid shift at the ball-crushing factory, I tried to play and finish it. I still have 2 centuries left. Fuck it, review now. Luckily, Paradox understands how insanely deep the pool is. And it offers a variety of flotation devices in this nifty little automation tab in the top right. You can even automate the construction of armies. There are no mission trees anymore also. Bye-bye mission trees. Instead, you have a more advanced age system. Each age has 3 institutions which appear, and embracing them opens up a gigantic tech tree for you to peruse through. You sort of have to pick and choose what to prioritize, because if you research everything, you'll still be researching shit from 2 ages ago by the time Napoleon arrives. Speaking of Napoleon, let's talk army. You have a levy system, which various laws and the estate's privileges can affect the size and strength of the levies, as well as the types of weapons they use. I love the levy system. Early on, levies is all you have. Mid-game, I have a giant professional army that walks around and kills hordes of enemy levies like American hog hunters in hot pursuit. And to supplement that giant army, we raise 150,000 random peasants out of my country, I assume via lottery, to go disappear deep into northern Russia, never to be seen again, just like real conscripts. So let's recap so far to keep you on track. The economy, too in-depth for your pea-brain. You need to automate it. The army, keep your tech up and your levies large. What's left? The in-depth as fuck population and culture map means that, at the start of the game, the culture maps look beautifully laid out, and once you do what I do, slowly expanding your culture outwards, it begins to look like a mess spread everywhere. The game is so detailed in terms of culture and religion that at any one time, you have live surveillance of the 3 remaining Jews in Poltava province. Urbanization is a real thing in the game. You have 3 levels of settlements: rural, towns, and cities. And now, by technicality alone, you could have a town much smaller than a rural settlement. To make a city, you need 1,500 doubloons, which is a lot of dosh, but there's nothing actually capping your population at either of these tiers. The city of Kyiv, which sat in the center of my nation this entire campaign, for some unknown reason was attracting the entire nation to move to it. Other much more developed countries by 1550 had cities half my size, and by 1650 Kyiv had 900,000 inhabitants and Paris only had 450,000. And to top that off, Kyiv only quit growing because it is literally fall, and they all started going to Halich, and now that city is at 550,000. I have no idea what caused this, but it wasn't me. Regardless of that, the Golden Horde has been a continuous thorn in my side, and due to its Sunni Mongolian primary culture, conquering land from them has been a costly matter that has me constantly trying to suppress Muslim Mongol uprisings in the south of my country. And for some reason, my cabinet takes absolutely forever to convert territory, to the point that I've just decided Ukraine will forever have a Mongol minority, and that's that. Alternatively, rather than trying to fruitlessly convert frontier land that I can't possibly hope to, I can just create a vassal that'll do it for me. I've got a bunch of little vassals, and I just force them to be Orthodox and Ruthenian, and as you can plainly see, my culture is spread like a cancer. Now, why is it more optimal to have vassals? Look at Kiev. This city has 100% control. This means I get full benefits from the city. But once you step beyond the city, slowly state control wanes until you hit somewhere like the east of my nation, where control is literally zilch, zero, nada. This land gives me absolutely zero benefit to control. So I give it to a vassal. Boom! Now this vassal has full control over the land, and it actually allows me to focus elsewhere while it controls its own economy and army, and provides me with income, military support, and likewise helps me colonize the region by growing Ruthenian spores that spread Ukraine particles through the air and eventually turn Muslim Tatars into strong Orthodox Ukrainians. Also, when you annex a vassal, typically all the states come in chord. So as long as the land is your culture and religion, you'll have control in the region if you're connected there by roads and have things like counting houses dotted about. You can also use your cabinet to increase control, but unless the region is really populous like Halich, it's not worth dedicating a slot to. So save your cabinet for useful things like promoting urbanization, culture, religion, integrating land, or perhaps even just keeping your country from falling apart. From the very beginning of the game, war is important. Not everyone needs war to be wealthy and successful, but I need war to be happy. So within the first 5 years of my Kiev game, I full annexed Volhynia. This set the precedent of what I was going to do this game, uniting Ruthenia and going all the way to the North Sea, consolidating all the Rus under Kiev like Oleg intended. Except that my incredibly aggressive expansion both into Orthodox, Lithuanian, and Horde territory led to me facing a constant coalition that never really disappears from every single nation east of the city of Riga. And I win it pretty easily every time, mainly because every time I raise my levies, Kiev volunteers 42,000 men to the war effort, which is usually enough to handle anything alongside my professional army. Though you have to be careful when sending out levies to go and siege a province, because a stack from the other side of the continent will see your unit and will chase it to the ends of the earth trying to fight it, sometimes even knowing it will lose and die for no reason other than to be a pain in your ass. That being said, before engaging in a battle that seems evenly matched numerically, hover over the enemy stack to make sure what exactly it is you're fighting. There are 3 shields you can see when you hover over an enemy stack, and from left to right, they are levies, regulars, and mercenaries. Levies are literally just fodder. You can make them better, and sometimes they perform with surprising efficiency, but regular soldiers, generally speaking, can quite handily fight and win against 3-to-1 odds, because they can very commonly kill 100 or more troops per hour tick, and lose as little as 1 or less per tick. So if you have 12,000 levies, and you're sending them at 12,000 regulars, don't do that. You're going to kill them. So basically, the combat works like most Paradox titles of this variety. Make an army, put a commander on it, ensure that it is evenly spread on your flanks, which is a Crusader King's mechanic, and then run around and kill things while also sieging forts. Forts can take a very long time to siege in EU5, and I mean, most of you are probably already used to that, but the slower pace of the game overall means damage is done hourly instead of daily, and it takes much longer to actually win a war because the siege ticks are still monthly. Peace deals, though, are basically the same as EU4, except you right-click to unselect a state you have already selected, and aggressive expansion is now replaced with antagonism, which functions basically the same. Moving on. Once you have purchased EU5, you will never stop wanting to beat the nobles to death with your bare hands. Clergy uprisings? Burger uprisings? Nah. Noble uprisings? Real shit? What's that? You can't give enough rice and fur to the Kiev market? Revolt. What's that? The nobility's spending 60 fucking ducats on salt and they're going broke? Revolt. The revolts work very similarly to Victoria in that they pop out as a new cosmetic tag that you have to fight. And they can win, or you can win, and as you take provinces from each other, the land automatically is annexed by the other side. So in this manner, you want to try and rush down as much territory as possible to lessen the resources of those rebelling against you. Revolts can take a long time, or no time at all. Giving the estates new privileges can influence your societal values one way or another. It can also improve some things about your country, or debuff them, but there's actually something it doesn't do. Quench the greed of the fucking nobility. You could give them every single privilege in the game, and after a generation they'll be tugging at your robe, asking you to code in more privileges to give them, and their equilibrium will be back at 50%. Fuck your estates. They are greedy, and like a preteen with a summer job, they spend all their money on inane bullshit, which leaves them woefully in debt, but unlike you, they don't need to take loans to stay afloat, so there's no accountability. Now, on the off chance you can actually provide them goods at reasonable prices, the nobles, burghers, peasants, and clergy, and any other estate you might have, will build shit randomly that benefits them and you. In summary, just don't give a fucking thing to these assholes. Focus on crown power. Fuck your estates. Europa Universalis 5 is much like many Paradox titles, a revolutionary new game that has very little similarities to the last one in the series. But if you played EU4 and expected to hop into EU5 without hiccups, you better get you a glass of water because you're gonna hiccup. You might want to snap right into it, but if it's anything like my first games, you're not going to have a clue what is going on for the most part, and the AI is just going to kind of automate things while you figure out how to justify a war goal. Chin up, you're going to fail for a while, but you will learn, maybe, and if you think that maybe is worth the $60 price tag and you have enough disposable time and income to justify playing this game, go ahead and buy it. It's visually pleasing, fun to play, easy to pick up in my opinion, but hard to master. I give it a 7.5 out of 10, but I think that it sorely lacks in two main areas. Historical flavor, and the AI, shocker, which is still as bumbling as it ever has been. Albeit, my favorite parts by far is the combat, the culture map, and the religion, perhaps the most in-depth to date in a Paradox game. Thank you for watching. Now, on to my Patreon obligations. A big thanks to Gangsta Plays Panchak, the Irishman, Same Cash App, Null Scorpion, Dedrin, Steve Hayes, L. Walter Doro and his titles, Luther Manhole, Santiago Soto, Gotts Hubner, Boosgumps, Cyclonus777, you know I can't say that, Legrand Puba, Justin, and Von Kale. And to my scones and taxpayers, thank you all greatly for donating. Please join the Discord if you haven't and ping me to receive your rolls. I'll see you on the next one.